Ah, shake those nerves, shake those nerves. Hey consumers, what's up? It's Teeth coming at you live on these airways in flesh and blood. Check it out. Hi. This is just a pretty simple draw with me. I just wanted to do some traditional sketches, so if you want to draw along with this, that would be pretty cool. It would be like a longer form video. I did want to start off with something that I felt was kind of special, at least for me. I have this. Next to my drawings, I've deliberately laid out just to distract you. I have... You're kidding me. You're really wanting to eat right now, huh? My dog is eating in the background. Listen to my dog eat while I'm trying to record. Maybe he's done eating. But now I'm not done drawing. My hair is like super freaking all over the place today. Been growing it out just to see what it's like. Got some serious warmth right now. I always like look super young whenever I draw myself. But then once I add like the facial hair, it looks more like, I guess, what I look like now. That effect is in real life too. If I shave, I look 12 again. I think we can actually start recording. Alright, so yeah, this is just a pretty casual draw with me. I wanted to do some traditional sketches and then just kind of talk, since I wanted it to be pretty easy. I'm in the middle of recording a pretty big video. I don't know if I want to get into that right now. But one thing I did want to do that was kind of special, at least it's special for me, is I wanted to sort of like do a review and unboxing of this. The GraphGear 1000. It is a mechanical pencil, which is really not anything too special, but I've been actually wanting this pencil for quite a long time. Right now I use this, the GraphGear 500. It's sort of like the, I guess, average quality. So GraphGear basically makes, as far as like mechanical pencils, they have three types. They have one, I think it's like a 100 or a 350 or something like that, which is basically like just a plastic mechanical pencil. I've never gotten it because it's not necessarily something any too special. But then I've been using this one, the 500, for like a really long time. I was first introduced to GraphGear by like a pencil artist that I really liked, who did a lot of like fine line work and hatching and stuff that I feel like is really cool. And so I started using these, and I just kind of like stuck with me for a while. And he used the GraphGear 1000, but I actually never wanted to get this one because I was like, well, I don't want to feel like I have to use like premium materials to like make good art, you know, like this one is the cheaper one. I'm kind of like a guy that likes to do cheaper stuff. This whole sketchbook in and of itself I got from Target for like $5. Let me see if the cover is facing this way. It looks like this. It's made for children. As I knock the freaking camera around a bit. But I mean, I like doing cheap stuff. I like using cheap material and stuff like that because it prevents me from getting like all up in my head about trying to make good art. And this pencil isn't expensive. It's like $10. They have a version of it that comes with erasers and lead that's like $23. I think that's the main reason I never really got it. The only one I would ever see in real life was the $23 one. And I'm like, I'm not paying $23 for a pencil. But I saw it today for like 10. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. I guess that's kind of like a review and unboxing. I don't know. It's special to me. It's just a pencil for you, but it's special to me. I guess sort of starting off just talking about this one, the GraphGear 500. This has kind of been like my old reliable. The 0.3 is a bit too thin, I feel like, and I feel like the lead breaks even easier than this. And then the 0.7 is a lot harder to break the lead, but sometimes I feel like it's too thick to like really get some details in when you want. So I feel like the 0.5 is like a really good mix in between the two. As far as quality itself, I've always really liked it. It's really sleek and it like looks professional, but it's not super expensive or difficult to find. It's like easily available. I know a lot of mechanical pencils fit under this category. This is just some I've been working with. I just have 3 issues with this pen that mainly bother me. One, this little holster that it has isn't actually connected to the barrel itself. And so it's kind of cool because you can adjust it or slide or remove it if you have to. But the bad thing about it is if you have it like sitting on a place that isn't like actually in a pocket or something, like if you put too much pressure on it, your pencil is gone. In fact, that clip in and of itself is gone. I threw it behind my desk, so that's not coming back, I guess. And so that kind of sucks. I can't really trust that, like, I'm not going to lose my pencil with that. In fact, I have probably gotten this pencil like 4 or 5 times just because I keep losing them. The second thing I don't really like is it has like this precision barrel on the end, so it gets really thin. And that's pretty cool because this is kind of like a drafting pencil, so that's pretty important. But one of the issues with it is this metal and all that is aluminum. So if you have enough like pressure in your bag or if you're messing around with something, the tip can actually bend. And I've had that happen a couple times. It's a pretty big issue when the tip ends for mechanical pencils because if the tip is uneven, it'll make the lead snap like in short increments. So you kind of can't use it after that. But for some reason, I've been able to fix it whenever it has that issue, so that it's not that big of a deal. But the biggest thing, the worst thing about this pencil is the eraser. It sucks. You have the back end, which is removable, which is cool, so that way you're not touching the eraser like when you're feeding lead. But then you have to always take it off whenever you need to erase something, so it's like you don't even want to erase anymore. Plus on top of that, basically what they do for these eraser things is they're like this removable, replaceable eraser thing. But the issue with it is that it doesn't go underneath the eraser or anything, it just goes around it. So like, you see, there's like a huge chunk of eraser under it. In theory, like let's say I'm using this eraser a lot, it wears down, right? In theory, I should be able to take this band off, slide it down the eraser, and then have more eraser to like use. But the problem with it is because it's all aluminum, uh, it'll sort of like bend out of whack over time. So once you've basically taken it out and moved it down, it doesn't take a lot of pressure for it to basically like fall into the band. And so it won't stay in place. So you basically can't use it anymore. You would have to replace it. I feel like there's a better way to do that. And I'm hoping that this 1000 fixes some of those issues. I know it does look like it has a removable eraser cap. I'm hoping that the eraser isn't as bad, but it's probably the same. It does look like the clip was improved, and it has like, if you can kind of see on the end there, like this fluted barrel thing that I don't really understand how it works. So that might be interesting to check out. But yeah, I'll shut up for a second. In case you like to like listen to cardboard ripping or something like that, you know, the authentic unboxing experience. All right. Woo! Fancy. Honestly, like, I know, I get it. It's just a pencil, but I've been waiting for like 3 days for this. I've actually known about this pencil for like 10 plus years. And I've only decided just now to get it. So it's just actually kind of special. With this one, it's heavier like towards the bottom. This one is similar, but because the barrel itself is also metal, it's overall heavier. And then you kind of have like these little like rubbery divots along where you hold it, I guess to help with grip. How effective is it really? I don't know, but it looks cool. they're kind of cool and they kind of look like pimples, so mixed feelings, but it's cool. It definitely does feel like fancier. There's that open flute. I'm gonna try and like figure out how that works here in a second. Let me see if I can focus. Focus. Yeah. The clip is metal and it is attached. Super happy with that. It looks like there's like a slot under it. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe so it doesn't scratch the metal, or it kind of goes in further than like the tube itself actually is. Maybe it like holds on better because of that. That's kind of interesting. It does have this, which is kind of cool too, like an indicator for the hardness of the lead you're using. I don't know how to change it. Oh, it moved a bit. The barrel turns. This is just opening up the pencil. I don't want to break this thing. Can you imagine if I broke it? Oh, okay. Okay, H, HB, B, 2B. This is kind of a weird thing. I don't know if I like it, I dislike it. I think I just don't really understand it. It is kind of cool having an indicator if you're someone that uses multiple hardness of lead. I am not that kind of someone, so I guess it doesn't really affect me. I guess I'll just like, it won't really matter in my case. But it's neat that they have the feature. Okay. Of course it does. The eraser says the lead size on the back, which is pretty cool. I guess if you had it put away, you could kind of tell what size you're working with. I guess that's fine. It does have the removable eraser thing. I do wish the eraser was different, but it's whatever. But yeah, so this is what the eraser sort of looks like when it's brand new. Only like the very tip of it is out, and then you have like all this eraser on the bottom. But it's such a pain to like feed down and then add more eraser. So it looks like just like a regular mechanical pencil. When you press the tip or the back down, it pops the end of it up. And so that's so weird actually. I've never seen this before. It's like feeding lead and you can kind of see it move, but there's like two barrels. So okay, so it does come back. I'd heard somewhere that the lead doesn't feed back when you do that. But it looks like it does do that. I don't know how to make the flute come back in though. Probably gonna have to cut around a bit because I don't know how long it's gonna take me to figure out how to operate a mechanical pencil. Oh, that's cool actually. That's really cool. Okay, check this out. Check this out. In case I had to cut it. So you have the backup. The eraser back end is kind of long, and then I'm standing up for this. So you press it. Here, we'll go this way. And then the end comes out, right? And you can kind of see like you have like two barrels, one that came out of the initial flute and then the lead tip itself. And so what you do is when you press the clip, as if you're putting it away or something, right? Just strapping it somewhere, it brings the flute back in. So that's also why it has like that piece separating the barrel. It grabs onto that so it actually goes in a bit more. So it's still like a mechanical process, and then lifting it springs the flute back in. That's actually really, really interesting. I've never seen something that complicated before in a pencil. I want to open up the pencil at some point and like look into it, but I don't want to mess with it right now because I don't want to mess it up. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So it looks like it fixes the issues I had with the clip for the most part. It does all feel like very nice quality. And then the tip is protected because it'll be inside whenever the pencil is not in use. Just that mechanic itself is such a novelty. It's almost like a fidget toy now. That's so cool. It does look like you do have to kind of retract the lead a bit still when you're not using it, because if you had it like super high, that tip is still going to be out. The eraser still sucks, but that was honestly kind of fun. I wasn't expecting that to take 18 minutes, but that was pretty cool. That was an enjoyable experience. That was worth the $10 and the 10 years of waiting. I should get back in focus. Here we go. So yeah, that was the first part. But yeah, this is just basically like traditional sketching. I just wanted to draw with me a bit. Here's the GraphGear. Here's another GraphGear. Like I said, I've had like 8 before. I mean, they're pretty nice, except for the dumb eraser. This is like a larger scale sketchbook, which I'm not usually used to, which is part of the reason why I'm using it horizontally. I tend to use smaller sketchbooks like this. These are actually bullet journals. I tend to like it because you can use the dots as guidelines, and then they're like small, so you can kind of take them everywhere, and they're bound, so you don't have to worry about them messing up. This one I got for like $5, and it uses like those spiral binding things, I guess, which is pretty cool. Well, it's I hate these things kind of because they bend out of place and they can break. I haven't had a lot of issues with this one, just with the rings kind of separating a bit, but it was an easy fix. But I wanted a bigger sketchbook to kind of draw more freely in. And so I've been using this one with like some technical stuff. Like I've been doing, ooh, it's gonna hit the camera. I've been doing like Dropbox stuff and like gesture drawings, things that are kind of just a little bit more like not worrying so much about quality. So I'm just sketching. This is my guy. This is in theory like the main guy. This is the teeth collector. This is the guy bogging me down at the bottom of the spiral. He's kind of a big deal. I wanted to just explore some like designing with his outfits and stuff like that with this new fancy pencil. I did do this with the 500, so if any of the drawings that I'm not like planning ahead with over here, right, done with the new pencil are either equal to or they suck more than the 500, this will be proof that you don't need fancy pencils or whatever to make good art. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I'm just gonna kind of like design a little bit more like open speaking. I feel like I talk a lot when I do draw, so it shouldn't be too difficult to design. I was working out this design. This outfit is a bit outdated. It's basically based off of like a meat department clerk, which is not bad. I don't love the shapes in this. This little hood thing I gave him with like the ruffled top is new. And then he has like these little drawstrings that have like teeth beaded in. So I thought that would be kind of cool. But I'm just kind of like hashing it out. This eye design is new too. So he originally had a design on his mask that's like a third eye. And it had a similar shape. It was kind of like this for the eye, and then it had like a big X on it. And there's like lore context to what exactly that means, but I didn't really like feel that was too interesting. And so then I was thinking like, well, on my logo that was so wonderfully done by my friend Gigi, it's like this eye, right? And then you have like a spiral eye, which is pretty cool. And then it has like these 3 long eyelashes on the top. I don't remember what the bottom looks like. I think it has like, I think it might have 3 or it has 2 eyelashes. And I was like, what if like those lashes basically became like stitches over the eye so that it's kind of like trying to close it? Like that would be kind of cool. So that's where I'm at right now. I think I might wind up keeping that, but I've just been messing around with it. Same thing with like his mask design in general. It was originally like a very like blocky shape just for simplicity's sake. I think I had a nose like this, I don't remember. And then he had like these 2 big tusks. Except one of them was like this size, and then the other one here, let's use this eraser, was like huge. It was like that. And then he had like little teeth like that. And then he didn't have like circles around his eyes. They were just like slits. It was kind of like that. That looks so bad. I just wanted to like complicate the shape a bit though, because I feel like when it's a flat panel like that, it's not very interesting. It's really difficult because it's like a physical object. And so I have to kind of think about like how it turns and stuff like that. And that can be a pain. So right now it's kind of like more of like a shortened like semicircle. Like for a while it was kind of like this shape. That was cool. Then now like it kind of goes in with the jaw bit. I don't know if I like that. Okay, I should draw. I'm not used to being recorded. I can talk and draw easily, but being recorded, once there's a camera, like my mind just freaks out, man. All right, let's see. What if we had them like kind of going this way? I could actually do like a profile. Profile would be interesting. And I could follow the same proportions as this one over here. I usually like to construct like a underlying skeleton pretty lightly. It's kind of like a squared head. I like to make him like scrawny. He's malnourished. He's starving. I'm actually going to kick his torso over this way a bit so it's more of a 3/4 view. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Even though he has like most of his cloak blocking his body, I'm just kind of like get an idea. Ooh, his hips are not that big. Get an idea of where his like pelvis is, length of the torso is length of the legs, kinda. Sure, why not? Then I tend to make his legs a bit more straight because he's a boy. One thing I do notice whenever I'm drawing characters is I have a really hard time making their ankles and like their wrists and stuff like that thin. I'm like not used to it. I want to mess with like differing body types and stuff like that in general. It just feels like a lot of the time when I do a character, they have like this minimum thickness to like their limbs. Should I have his hands be doing something? Maybe like, what if he was like, he had him out a little bit? I think this elbow's too short, but I don't care because I am just drawing to draw. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's so crazy. It's like, I guess you can kind of tell here my hands are shaky because I'm nervous. I guess that's not bad. It's not bad to like be openly nervous. I just got to do this stuff more often so I can like do it more comfortably, right? Let's see. There were a few things I wanted to talk about while I just kind of like mess with this construction a little bit. I first off really wanted to like say thank you for like the views and the subscribers I got from that last little test video I did of just like the portrait time lapses. I'm honestly surprised that thing did as well as it did. And it didn't do like super great, but it was like I didn't expect that thing to get any views. Like that was more of a test than anything else. And then it got like what? I'm at like over 60 subscribers now. Hey. And then the video got like 500 views. I was expecting like 5. So whether it was from like you found the video from my Instagram or just like recommended, like thank you so much for checking it out, you know. This is Teeth coming in editing mode. I just wanted to emphasize, especially everyone who left a comment on that video, just being positive about it, saying they were interested in seeing more. Like, that was pretty cool to see. I know I won't have to deal with, like, people trying to ruin my dreams until these videos start breaking quarantine, but it was still cool just seeing, like, how many people commented and how positive it was overall being. Basically everyone who left a comment and honestly just said anything at all, that was super cool. I loved reading those. That was awesome. I do like making YouTube videos as low experience as I have, right? It's something that I enjoy. I like rambling like this and talking. I feel like it's a bit more meaningful than just posting pretty pictures. So it's something that I do want to like warm up to and do a little bit more often. And I mean, I would say I don't love video editing because it can be like tedious. So I want to try and make like a form of video that feels like pretty relaxed and doesn't really take like a huge amount of effort or anything like that. Um, and I think stuff like this is kind of in that line. I want to make bigger stuff too. I actually had been gone for some time because I was doing this drawing challenge like all of March. And that's a video, and I'm working on that. And it's going to happen. I'm saying it now. I'm not backing out of it because I'm already halfway through editing it. So I definitely want to get used to like more relaxed little projects like this. Meanwhile, while I get used to like how this whole thing works and the kind of stuff I want to make and kind of finding my footing. I've also been posting to Instagram a little bit more lately. And by a little bit more, I mean I posted like once. Instagram has so many people and it's so like oversaturated with like artists. And then it's like you have to make reels and then they remove features like it's not really suitable to do draw this in your styles anymore because they removed being able to see recent tag submissions and it's like they just keep making it harder. It's not like impossible to be an artist on social media. Like the best way to do it is just to like what you're doing and make it easy for yourself to like do stuff like that. But man, they do not like making it easy. What did I do to deserve this? I have like this idea of like he has these big sort of like squared rectangle ears and then they have a buckle under them and maybe like some rope long, and then like these earrings, because his mask is based off of like pre-Columbian, like American tribal masks and or like ritual masks and stuff like that. But then also, yeah, like, oh, like maybe the string here is like the strap that he has behind his head, or maybe they're kind of like handles, so you would kind of hold the mask in with like two hands normally or whatever. Like, I don't know. I think it looks cool. Cool shapes. I do like this idea of like this bulbular eyes. I don't know if you can really tell, but I kind of like lopside the shape a bit because it makes him look a little bit sadder. He's kind of a sad dude. He's a lonely dude. Everyone's afraid of him because he's stealing people's teeth. And then he has kind of like this animalistic nose. And then he has like these lines underneath his eyes that kind of look like face paint. The purpose of them is to like, well, part of it is to like help him be a bit more expressive because he always has a mask on. So I can kind of use those lines as like eyebrows, or I can push and pull the shape around to like show expression. Same thing with the slits in his eyes still. But I mean, I can mess with that shape. I don't know. I don't know if I want to mess with that. I kind of like that. Man, this is tough. Part of the reason I didn't like, here, and we'll do it just for this one, just to humor myself, having a big tusk is because it juts out from the side. So whenever he faces this way, it kind of goes like it blocks half his face. We'll just do it for this, even though I'm not really settled on this idea, just because I can. It's my drawing. I don't really care for how the mask digs in like this too. It feels a little bit too much like a skull. The tusk for a while was also like a horn on top of his head. I didn't really care for that too much. Or there was like a feather, maybe like instead of like an earring, he had like feathers that would dangle down. I didn't really care for that much either. So he basically hides like any openings in his skin. And then what he used to have also was like, instead of sort of like an oversized baggy smock with an apron, for a little bit he had sort of like a poncho thing going on, and I don't know if I can draw it that well with this, but it would basically be like this super open poncho shape, and then it would turn behind his waist. And I mainly did this because then he would still have a waist and the poncho wouldn't be blocking out his side. And then he used to have like rope bindings around like his waist, and he just had pants. I don't know. he didn't really have anything special going on here. And then I like this idea of like his legs being more narrow than like the rest of his body. So he would have these rope bindings also along his legs. This would help kind of show the form and direction of his leg a bit better, which is cool. But then also just like make him look really thin and scrawny. This is like an okay depiction of what it used to look like. Overall drawing with the GraphGear 1000, I feel like is pretty familiar. It's nothing necessarily too special. It's not this revolutionary experience that only real artists will understand. Yeah, that's kind of what he looked like. Maybe we'll give him a hood just to like add to his shape a bit. He's kind of looking funky. That's okay. That's what happens when you don't eat and you don't sleep and you wander around the cities like a weirdo. Oh, and then he would have like his poncho thing. He would have like not drawstrings, like these ropes of like stuff he found. Like he would have like pouches, and that's kind of how he stored things. Is he would just basically like hide them within the poncho. It's kind of a stupid idea, but that's okay. We're here to make stupid ideas. I feel bad sometimes because I have like these characters and stuff, and I don't draw them like super often. I've been trying to get into the habit of drawing a little bit, but it's like, dang, I've been neglecting them. What if you had like a backpack? No. No way. We're calling it there. Yeah, like these lines are super awkward. They're like, I feel like as soon as the camera started, I regress like years in my ability because it's like my lines are like not careful. I'll get used to it. And you'll have to just deal with it until then, I guess. Let's keep cooking. Maybe he has two tusks. Like you can hardly tell there's a person under there. Maybe there isn't a person under there. You ever wonder why he wears the mask? I don't know how to describe like why this shape isn't working. Trying to like break up this shape a bit, like kind of looks like a monkey. You gotta design some file too where like he had larger teeth. I mean, he is the teeth collector. I feel like teeth have to be pretty prominent in the design. I'm not necessarily looking towards like a finished design or anything though. I just wanted to like maybe get an understanding of why certain parts work and certain parts don't. It's funny too, because part of the reason I don't draw my own characters, it's like it's always so much harder. If I were to draw someone else's character, it would be like, oh yeah, I would probably have an easier time. But it's like once it's your own character, it's like, oh, it's gotta look perfect. And I'm trying to like force myself to not care too much about that. Like we're just drawing to draw. The rest doesn't matter. But it's always harder to like actually do it, even if you know. Probably just gonna go till I get to the end of this page. I'm really hoping that one of these clicks, or we're just gonna have to stick with pretending I drew this today. The sort of idea I have with the shape that his eye makes is it's kind of like, is like this part caves in, and then this part is a bit more like bulbous. And then like these are technically eye slits, but it's just so dark in there you can't see anything. What's he look like under there? It's probably pretty bad if he hides it, how his eyes are designed. I do like this eye design, so I would probably keep it like this. It's just like the rest of the mask. It's just difficult. So, how's your day? You can tell me all about it. Go for it. I'm listening. I know it says that it's not live, but this video is happening in real time as we speak. Whenever you're watching this, feel free to tell me about your day here. I'll give you plenty of time. Go for it. Hold on, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't listening to any of that. I was trying to work through this design. I'm sorry. Maybe you can tell me about it next time. I'm glad that you felt the need to tell me that, because that means that it was important to you. And that's what matters. Or maybe I was listening, I don't know. One of the like important parts I want to work towards with Teeth's design is like he's both able to emote if he has to, but also like if you saw this guy and he was just kind of looking at you and you couldn't tell what face he was making, it would freak you out a little bit. I don't know. His face keeps looking like a skull. They're all skulls. His eyes are just, what if we just made his eyes super tiny? Huge, friggin' huge forehead. I'd hide away too if my forehead was this big. To be entirely fair, for like a draw with me video, this is probably the most challenging character I could have done, partially because he's a guy and I don't draw a lot of guys, but also partially because this is he's not the character I've had for the longest technically, but I have had him like in theory for a long time, so I'm like super picky about making sure he's depicted a certain way. You can tell I am like loosening up, but still a bit of a struggle. It is what it is. Let's see. I'm gonna give myself like 4 minutes so I have a clean hour of footage to work through. I think one of the things I want to sort of teach myself in doing this stuff is that it's okay to make mistakes and to not be good at things and to want to do it anyways, because it's not like I'm forcing myself to make videos. It's not something that comes natural to me. I've always kind of, ooh, what if you had something, let's just say, give them like almost like a, what's it called? It's not like a pompadour, but like those things the Roman gladiators had. It starts with a P, I'm like pretty sure. Just to mess around. And this is kind of, like I was saying, the point is it's okay to like not be good at something. It doesn't have to be good. Anyone seeing this, any let's say 4 people that see this video, right? They're not going to be as critical of this video or these designs or these drawings to make sure they're good as I am. I am always going to be my biggest critic. And so it's okay to like suck. Because by doing these things is how you get better, right? I'm not good at making videos because I've wanted to make videos for forever, but I didn't make videos until just now. And I still am sort of like psyching myself up out of doing these things, and that's not good. This ponytail thing is so strange, but I love the shape it's in. I would like to like do these things frequently enough that it feels more natural and I can basically be up to speed, because you're never a natural at anything, really. I used to not like doing digital art. I hated it. I would just do traditional sketches like this. Like this is basically like my comfort zone. But like now I've been drawing digitally long enough that like it almost is kind of the opposite. Like I like with digital that I'm able to edit my work a bit more and use different brushes and color things in and so on. My perception of art and what I'm good at or whatever has sort of evolved as I've made more work. That's a sign of like improvement and change, and that kind of change can't be done unless you do things that you like regularly and push yourself to be okay with being bad. I guess this is like girl teeth collector. I don't know, dude. I don't know what happened here. I got 15 seconds. Our souls are eternally bonded, okay? We're walking out of this, right? We're working through this together. So even if it's not something that you're comfortable with or that you feel like it's going to be so good, like this was live sketching. I didn't prepare any of it and I'm not really happy with the results, but hey, I did it, you know? And the next time I do it, maybe it'll be better. And I would encourage you, or you know, to explore these things, to try things you enjoy or that are different, or even things that you feel like you can't do that well, because like you only get better at it by doing it. Anyways, yeah, this was just like a little draw thing, talking about the pencil. Still pretty happy with the pencil. It was cool working through teeth designs. Pretty disappointed with the results, but you know what? I did it, so that's worth what it is, right? Next time will be just a little bit easier than this time, and that in and of itself makes this worth it. Thank you for watching, consumers. See you next time, hopefully not a year away.